Welcome to LLoLP podcast.
Hey.
Oh,
Yo.
I think this is gonna be the last episode of this season, probably.
The last episode ever. No.
Barring anything absolutely insane happening, like the dissolving of many major leagues in the next 3 months. I don't know if
I don't think you need to say
show.
many, because even if one made, like if EU dissolves, we would still probably.
Oh, that'd be a footnote
that.
on my. Oh man, I'll think of all the EU imports that would now just be residents for NA. Oh man, that'd be great. Oh my god, that would be so interesting. Shit. Now I want EU to dissolve just to see what would happen. It's
What
not gonna
happens
happen,
if they-
but
It would be hilarious. Guess what? EU mid laners can now be residents in China. What?
oh god. Was it
How
Reckless
does
got
that
offers
happen?
from China a couple years ago?
How'd that pan out?
He didn't go
The
there.
drive to win. Never
Oh my
giving up.
God. So hang on, wait. Do you guys want to talk about that shock speech?
I didn't really watch it. I watched like 8 seconds of it. I just remembered that.
Hey, Mon, did you watch the shock speech?
No, I did not.
Okay, we'll skip that then. It's not a whole large thing. It's just a stupid thing from the community, and I don't know. It did not pan out well. I'll say that. All right, so let's get into our first topic for this week, and seeing as this is the finale for the 10 years of LOL esports and 2 years of running this podcast, I wanted all the hosts to kind of come together and talk about what 10 years of League is for them, and like why we watch the show watch the leagues and whatnot. So, does anyone else want to start, or I'll go?
You start.
All right.
Yeah, take point.
So, I started playing League back early season 2. I can still go find the confirmation email for my account on my Yahoo email.
Throw back to Yahoo email.
Fucking Yahoo. And I didn't watch the pro scene too much in season 2. I think I watched a bit of Worlds at that point, but I don't know. I definitely watched NA finals though, because I was at the time. I remember X Special was extremely impressive to me because he didn't die for like 3 games straight. And they're like, this dude has been alive for 72 minutes of game time. And I thought that was just amazing. And this is back when Oracle's Elixir was an on-death kind of thing. So you would buy it for 300 gold, and then it's just on you the whole time you're alive until you die. So if you can buy an Oracle's Elixir and then stay alive for 72 minutes, the amount of Oracle Elixir's uptime that you had was amazing.
A lot.
And that was why he was so impressive at the time. At least in NA, who was like basically the second best region at that moment, but so yeah, that's kind of the same time where I became a TSM fan. Was when
Oh, so you made your bad call early. Got it.
Okay. All I know is we won North America then, and we still win North America to this day.
What about those 2 years of Worlds?
What about all those other worlds you didn't make, including this one?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay, so to continue my story, then after season 2 LCS starts, and I basically just watch every game of LCS until this very day. I guarantee you the amount of LCS games is less than 24 that I have missed. Because I don't know, I just watched it. I watch it all the time, and it's all I can really like. If it wasn't around anymore, my weekends would be so empty most of the time. Like 9 months out of the year, I got League to watch on the weekends. Not having MSI was so weird to me. I'm just like, there's a month where I do nothing. What the fuck? So I played WoW. That was a mistake.
Oh man.
Also,
I just
League Esports is how I met Haymant and like all my other friends I still talk to.
Not how you met me, but good try.
No, it wasn't. That's how I still hang out with you though.
every once in a while.
We don't really hang out, but yeah.
Games on calls.
Oh
whatever.
man.
This is hanging out. All right, Haymant, you go. You give your story.
what I really loved was all of the content that came around from it. I started about the time that the new map came out, where it came out, and it was like
Season 4, Season 5.
just around that time when Trundle was a meta jungler. It was a great
He was a
time.
meta
TB
jungler
fucking
last
T.
year. Wait, he was a meta jungler last year.
That is true. When he was even more meta. Actually, I'm not even sure. He might have just been a regular top laner at that time
He
because
was
he
a
could just
top
munch
laner
through
before
turrets.
he was a jungler. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I played the fuck out
Go
of
back
him.
to that.
Just
Remember
destroyed
Nidalee
everybody.
top, Anthony? The good old days.
I
AD
played
Bruiser
that.
Nid.
I played that and just killed everybody. Oh my god, it was broken.
Oh man. Unfortunately, I think I started about when the Juggernaut meta was about to round out, and I also remember enjoying watching. At that time, I was a TSM fan, and I heard that they were,
Cringe.
IEM. They had just won like season 5 IEM Katowice, and I was like, oh my god, this is gonna be great. This is gonna be the team. There's Turtle flashing forward. There's Dyrus up there in the top lane. And I was like, oh man, that's a great time. I literally started as a TSM fan in season 5, right when they were at their peak, and then right afterwards, it's everything just hit the fan. It was a bad time, and you just watched the drama unfold on TSM Legends. Bjergsen getting mad that he had to play Lulu mid, Dyrus, just being a little sad and being like, "Hey guys, let's get it together." Turtle getting told not to flash forward, and Loco Doco literally sitting him down
Imagine
and being
telling
like,
Turtle not to be Turtle. Cringe, dude.
It's what's gotten him to be like one of the great 80 carries over this past previous split.
Well,
Turtle always
let's
flashing forward.
not act like a lot of the support.
Remember when
that
fucking...
he's been like actually better than Lustboy or Eric Special were at that time.
That's fair, but remember when Turtle's like first game he got a fucking pentakill?
Oh my god, he replaced Chaos so hard.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god.
Reggie was like,
and I
"We
remember being
got him."
bummed about that because wasn't that before C9 was in the league?
I think so. I think that's
Because I remember
spring.
that I also actually watched TSM back then because of like Dyrus and Odd1 and stuff. And I remember being like really bummed that Chaos wasn't on the team anymore because I hate change because I'm a coward. And then Turtle came in and got a pen, and I was like, oh, this is what's about to happen. I understand.
I wasn't attached to Chaos like almost at all. I was mostly
because I had been watching League since before season 2. Like I had been watching League when it was like tournaments where you'd have like a gangplank fucking like a Vayne mid, like a gangplank ass jungle. Like I was watching and it was just like it was rock solid and all those fucking teams, right? And so I had known those players for like a long time. And then when some of them coalesced into these like more professional teams, I was like, oh, this is so fucking sick, right? Like that's so cool. Like I remember watching it when Dyrus and Doublelift were like teammates and shit. Right?
Oh man,
when Dyrus was the fucking support. Oh god, that was
right?
the
Like
fucking dumbest spotlight I've ever seen.
I'm deep in the game, but
yeah. Oh, man, I think the best part is seeing whenever everything just changes drastically. Not in the solo queue games, never in the solo queue games, but in the
sometimes they
competitive.
do because sometimes like
that.
one guy in a large scale tournament breaks out like a dumbass pick. Tank Rengar, and then all I see in the fucking solo queue games.
Support MF was a fucking bane of my existence for a whole goddamn year. Thank you so much to whatever fucking team whipped that shit out to counter Zyra. I hate you.
Rocks Tigers.
I mean, to be fair,
actually,
it
was
good
Coup
counter.
Tigers.
I don't say it's not a good pick, but it was only good into Zyra for fuck's sake.
The Coup Tigers. Back to, I think it was Smeb, Gorilla, Prey. I forget who the other two people.
The one who whipped it out.
Brought it out, almost brought down SKT, and always we have those memorable moments. I also enjoyed on the international stage just watching SKT dominate.
Oh yeah,
that was a great time.
The only time I've ever in my life wanted to main mid lane was immediately after watching the Faker. What was that clip? That was the only time I was like, damn, I should learn Zed.
You didn't want to main mid lane after watching fucking what's his name, Crown play Malzahar 3 times against.
What do you know? What do you mean?
I Hey, I have embodied that theology around League of Legends and being like, that's how I win the game. My mid laner just plays Malzahar. It's foolproof.
Uh-huh. It has gotten a lot of success with less good mid laners, aka myself.
Painful but fair.
Painful but fair. And of course, all of the changes. Oh man, it was wild seeing the mages bot lane. That was a crazy time as well. Just when it was like, oh, the crit items got changed, and it was so far into the late game that the only 80 carries that were actually being played were Lucian and Ezreal, just back and forth. And everyone was breaking out, oh, Victor bot lane. We can bring out a Vladimir. We can bring out all these other crazy picks.
I didn't like that time because I feel like they kind of over-indexed into screwing over 80 carries. But even as I said,
What else
that,
is new?
that 80 carries will always find a way.
To complain or to be good?
To be good, to be meta, because didn't that
correct
come out,
answer was both.
Didn't that come out with lethality meta at that point? Or did that just kind of spring back up a little bit as a kind of band-aid fix for 80 carries? Because crit was absolutely unplayable. Like, that's why Caitlyn became broken this year, is because they over-buffed her over and over again then, and then they just fell into crit meta.
I think it actually came out, I want to say right before the lethality meta was about to arrive.
There's been like 3 lethality metas, but
the best one was Jhin Varus.
I think I hate fucking Varus. I used to love Varus, but now I just absolutely fucking hate Varus because I feel like he's a poke champion, meaning he's basically not actually an AD carry, and he's not like actually a good poke champion. He just sort of has an overtuned Q so that he can be a poke champion. I just don't like that kind of the way that he sits in the game right now.
Nah, they kind of nerfed him into the ground. Now it's like, hey, you want to do the full on-hit Varus build? Well, you're going to have to get a decent amount of items first. And the crit 80 carry is still going to one-shot you from range, right? Caitlyn's just going to be like, ha ha ho, there goes half your health bar. Wonderful time.
Although if you're better than the Caitlyn, then you're going to be like, XD, 1Q is you're dead.
1Q, half health, 2Q, you're dead. That's it. That's the whole story.
I was talking about the on-hit version.
On-hit version?
Which just is sad.
It's slow autoing, and it's just it takes forever to ramp up. Your range is low. It's like, it's not that useful anymore. Why would I play that when I can play Ashe? Like,
yeah, just toss a W every single time.
It's like, oh, I'm getting rushed by 3 people. How about no?
Just be like WWE.
Look at my match history. That's the game I played like half an hour ago, where I'm just like kiting out Darius and Set and Volibear the entire time. Meanwhile, my team fucking dies, and I'm like, I don't know what to do, guys. I just killed their front line, and no, everyone's dead now. You know what I miss? I miss tanks. I miss all the tanks. I love watching tank play. It's so people think tanks are boring. I miss lane swapping too, because that's actually cerebral gameplay. But I miss tanks because they actually hold a front line, and they there's an actual strategy there. It isn't alright, everybody. You just kind of move around all over the place, hoping somebody makes a fuck up, and you just kill them off of it. That's so boring to me because it relies on the enemy to make a mistake instead of both teams like ramping up, entering the fucking war, and going to town on each other. And that is fucking fun. That's how you play League of Legends, people. Don't let these fucking assassins, all this other bullshit fucking make you think otherwise. Front to back team fighting is League of fucking Legends. Ugh.
Do you know what on some old man shit? Anthony's the kind of motherfucker who's like, I don't think the three. Anthony's the kind of motherfucker that when they ask, oh, should the 3-point line be in the NBA? He goes, oh, what's next? A 4-point line? A 5-point line? Let's just make it a fucking circus, I guess. I want that old man shit. I want that standing under the rim, 8 feet tall shit. None of this new shit.
Is it me who's wrong? No, it's the new players who are wrong. Oh
From the
my
tank
God.
meta, all I remember was there just being a Garen and a Nautilus hitting each other top lane and then just walking away, and then hitting each other again and walking away.
That's not
and
even
nothing would
tank
happen.
meta. Tank meta was back when fucking Elise would build raw cooldown tank. That was tank meta, man.
I remember
Every
those
fucking
days.
jungler went cooldown tank, and I fucking loved it. I didn't have to think about my
That's when I
builds
was
at
good
all.
at jungling.
It's like, what do you build on Elise? Glacial Shroud into Kindle Gem, then you kind of finish whichever one builds into the better carry on the other team, and you just kill everybody because your EWQQ combo is absurd.
Was that also the time where Urgot was occasionally played bot lane
No.
as an AD carry?
No.
No,
Urgot
that was
earlier.
a bit farther.
No,
Okay.
that was like season 4 and 5. It's kind of close to the time. This is more season 3, 4 with the cooldown jungling, but it was also super niche and it would come in and out of meta.
Well,
it was the
Urgot was also
Zed.
popular earlier, right? Because
nobody knew how to play the
it was
fucking
Mana
game.
Battery Soraka in season 2, like EG Yellow Pete and shit.
Yeah.
Yellow Pete and Crepo down there in the bot lane holding it down.
Yeah, what was it? Like the reason they picked Urgot was just to counter Zed basically. If Zed was in the game and you ran Urgot mid, Zed can never ult somebody because he's just gonna get ulted when he lands. Like you could prep the way that he used to work is that his Q, which was his E, would land on you as like a cast like it is now, and then you'd have a poison on you that would auto track his Q, which is kind of his W, that would then just sort of murk your bitch ass. And his ultimate was his E, which is different now, but it basically made you stand still for 2 seconds and swap places. So you ult him, he flashes under turret, E ults you, you're ticking armor shredding off you, then he spams 2 Qs and you're dead. I loved it. I played it so much. It was so toxic. And I'm not saying that just because he poisoned people.
I miss when Star Guardian Urgot was still a meme.
I know, right? I gotta go buy that skin. I still have to buy that skin. Wait, doesn't Tony owe me that skin? Tony owes me that skin.
Does he?
I think so. Someone owes me that skin.
Huh. Someone owes you
I know
that
Tony
skin.
owes me a skin.
Don't know if it's that one specifically.
Don't remember. All right.
Okay.
So we talked about how League's been in the past and how it's affected us as people. What do we want to see?
I mean, I didn't really say anything about that because Haymant went on a little bit.
Then
but
Matt, do you
that's
want to go?
I was just gonna say it's like in high school, it's how I made like a lot of my friends, both digital friends and friends that I knew in real life. Like I remember back in the day, like a new kid came to school and me and another friend found out that he played League, and we like lost our minds and played with him a bunch, and he became a really good pal, right? Like it was a game that since season 2 or so, like I'd been playing like all the time, and I played it like throughout the entirety of high school, basically like almost every day. Anthony and I hadn't been like super good friends. Like we'd been pals. We would have been like super close since like childhood. And then like we both got in the league, and that brought that back, and it caused us to play the game a lot together. And it also caused us to like spend hours and hours making fantasy league before real fantasy league. And like those are some really good memories, right? It's a really, really fun. I mean, I hate the game in a lot of senses of the word, but I basically hate anything. I hate WoW too. I played all
That's
the time.
not a great barometer for the.
No, but it's a game that was like really important to my teenage years. You know, it was huge, and I still play it. Right, like not as much, but I still play it in Clash and in tournaments and stuff with you guys.
I can't wait till we're in the senior.
It's also
centers
the
with a
only
private
reason I
server.
actually met Haymont, Alana, Tony, like all these people, like Doug, like everybody I met through Anthony because of League of Legends. So.
It's so many people through League of Legends. For those of you who don't know, I started a club about this fucking game. Ugh. That was an experience. Ugh.
Yeah.
Okay, so what do we want to see from WoL Esports next year? So that means like anything, the LCS Worlds, the international regions.
I want NA to win World. No.
I want NA to win World. Well,
We're all in
No
agreement there.
promises. No team has hired me as a coach yet, so I don't think it's gonna happen. That's all I'm saying.
But has anyone hired you as
would lower the chances of the team winning Worlds?
We can't say that it won't improve them now, can we?
I think I can say that pretty confidently.
You got no proof that would happen.
But have you applied as a script writer as yet?
No,
the
but
key position at Riot Games.
I have correctly predicted the final perfectly, so you know.
Almost along the same lines.
Profit.
Script and profit. Now all you need to do is get those donations to get a little bit of money for it. Oh man!
Someone's gotta pay me for my prophecies. I can't.
Prophecies.
Prophecies, by the way. What was that? What
that was me
that,
forgetting
bud?
what the word prophecy is.
Oh man, I want to see the layouts get a bit better. I remember watching the EU. I remember for the NA broadcast, just watching the actual layouts for like, oh, here's the team name there, here's the team name there, and this is a scoreboard, and being like,
oh, you mean
that's kind of meh.
The spectator overlays?
Yeah, and then I remember watching the EU one, and I was like, oh, this looks great. I love it.
I don't know
in between
why.
the transitions, the EDM music that was on the EU broadcast, it just felt like a.
That's because you like EDM music.
That is true. That is true. They did buy me over with that.
I honestly get annoyed every time they cut to their music because I don't like their music. Like, it's fine, it's whatever, but I just don't like it. It's like I just want to turn it off. I'm okay. I'm more okay with the LCS's music breaks because it's like I have half of that music in my mix at the moment, so you know I'm much more content. But what was I gonna say? I don't know why they all seem to want to get away from just enhancing the current spectator UI that is in the game, or like working with Riot to make the spectator UI just a little better. Because I think I've seen ones where they just sort of tack on to the top bar, and I'm just kind of thinking, why don't they all just do that? That seems like such an easier thing to do than to rework the overlay, use an entirely separate program to feed the source numbers into that overlay, and then like it's so much more work than it ever needed to be, and they could have made it so simple. Like, I don't understand why custom games don't just have team names and team tricodes you can put in. Like, I don't get it. Why is that not a thing? That seems like a simple way to do it, and then you can just make your own custom thing at the top. And then you can just sort of make best of series and custom games too. I feel like these are simpler additions to the game that they could actually make that might make the general game better. Like, if I could make a lobby for a best of 3, it might make running tournaments slightly easier. So I feel like it's been an underutilized thing for Riot in general. And I agree that a lot of the overlays need work. Whatever the fuck EU does for their champ select overlay, though, please kill it with fire. I hate it. I hate it with a passion.
What?
I hate that underbar overlay. Like, it doesn't make any goddamn sense to me why. I don't... Nowhere in this game does it put support, AD carry, mid laner, jungler, top lane. Like, nowhere does it do that. It's always top down. Why are we not putting champ select in this format? Why is champ select not an enhanced version of the champ select we see in game? Like, the way that the LCS and LPL do it is perfect. Why is it different? What is wrong with the way that the LCS has their champion select formatted?
Haymant is gonna be like, there's no fucking rave music.
Where's my EDM?
There's no.
I feel like I'm fucking taking Molly in a warehouse in like London or something, man.
Hey, like come on! They normally played one of the top 100 songs on the EU broadcast at the time.
I feel like I gotta mention they're paid to play those songs. They're advertisements for those songs.
Oh man, the only time that I felt like
outs, by the way.
Going back to it, the NA broadcast music, I felt only like stepped it up around when playoffs was on there, and I was like, oh, they're bringing
music. Wait, it's the same music.
They brought in Monster Cat. I know the difference.
They brought in Monster Cat?
EDM throwbacks. Yeah.
When did they play Monster Cat music in They just use the same. They use that like the what's it called? Pentakill, a bunch of their orchestral pieces. Like they use all that stuff.
No,
I
I'm
don't
pretty sure they
ever.
used other EDM music because I
I
remember
don't know.
listening to it and going like, "Oh, this is a different one."
No, they have some EDM stuff. They have the Sona stuff, the DJ Sona stuff.
That
You
was
might.
Borgore, if I remember, did the entire DJ
I have
Sona.
no idea. I
No,
have,
okay, all right.
I have no idea who actually did those, but they definitely used those during some breaks. They used that during Worlds a lot, and it was annoying me because they kept playing it over and over and over again. I'm like, play something different. Oh, too many goddamn
Okay.
games. I don't want to. Like, I'm glad there's not League of Legends for another 2 or 3 months because I do not want to watch more right now.
There was a
Fair.
lot from Worlds.
Matt, what do you want from LoL Esports next year?
I have no idea. None of the stuff you guys are talking about really bothers me. I mean, like, I guess it would be cool to be able to do like custom stuff in more customizable ways, I guess. But like, I don't have a huge stake in that, to be honest. I don't really play the game like that. Maybe see just like better Clash support or like new ways of doing Clash. So because it does, like, obviously we talked about this during
Well,
Clash, and
that's
there's
kind of going more into Riot than
oh, that's
LoL
true. I thought
Esports.
that's what we were talking about. Yeah, in terms of esports, no fucking idea.
Okay, what do you want from Cloud9 then?
I don't know. To
To go to Worlds?
I guess I don't. I guess like
Make Spring Split matter again?
no, never matters.
No,
It
no,
never
no.
mattered before. It won't matter now.
Yeah, tell that to Cloud9. Tell that to CLG and 100 Thieves.
Okay, I will.
Fucking 4th place Lucker dogs over there. Alright. Time to talk about the kind of obnoxious, or I shouldn't say obnoxious, the depressing part of Worlds, which was the opening ceremony. Everybody else noticed that the opening ceremony looked like garbage.
I didn't watch it.
Oh.
Me neither.
Why? How do you not watch the opening ceremony? What do you do with your time?
I just watched the VODs and
It
they
was
didn't have it
it's
in the
10
VODs.
minutes.
It wasn't in the VODs.
It wasn't.
It is
You
in
would
the
have had to
VODs.
You would have had to watch the beginning of game one, all the way from the beginning. That was it. Also, I did not watch the beginning of game one all the way from the beginning. Let me correct that, from the opening ceremonies onwards. I just watched the start of the game.
Why? The opening ceremonies are typically really good. This year was quite a, yeah, it was really bad.
I don't know. I really skipped over it, and which was weird because I recognized the name Kinjas, which is actually one of the dance groups that I normally follow. They were teased in the opening ceremonies teaser video as coordinating the choreography.
So the first part has the KDA song, and then it has more. There's supposed to be 3 more KDA songs coming. I don't know what happened, but I guess they're not part of Worlds. I thought they would be releasing one like every week of Worlds, but that didn't happen. They put out the KDA thing, and it like the lighting was awful. They're in a dark room, but they're lit kind of like they're outside, and it's like,
What does it even mean?
well, they superimpose 3D models, and it looks like they lighted the 3D models for a different environment.
That's crazy.
And I just don't get it. And then they had Galio come down at the end, but he's clipping through the stage and everything, and like all the props on the stage and stuff. So I'm just kind of like, so why did we bother with this? Like, what was the why did we do this? Why didn't we just make a cinematic video to put up? I'd have been fine with that. Like, you didn't have to do something crazy. Like, it's Rona times out here. Like, no one's gonna fault you for doing something simpler. But like, I don't know. What they did last year was actually really fucking cool. With all those like the 3D projection stuff onto silk screens.
Mm-hmm.
That was all super fucking cool. The year before, it was kind of unfortunate that it broke halfway through, but that was looking pretty cool. Oh, the thing fell on my desk. I don't know. I kind of wish they didn't get over ambitious this year with all the 3D models and stuff. I would have rather them just put up a music video behind the whatever the fuck else they're doing. I understand why they couldn't bring in all of the members of KDA to do whatever the fuck they kind of wanted to do.
Mhm.
But it definitely would have been better if they could have incorporated them in there, but I don't hold them at fault for that. All right. Let's move on. Talk about the world's final series. Hang on, let me put the results up on screen. And holy shit, Matt, am I reading this correctly?
Well,
I
but
don't know.
it
Sometimes
looks.
your
I
reading's a
mean,
little bit
I
off.
don't know. I'm gonna interrupt Haymant. It looks, Anthony. It looks like we were right and they
Right?
were wrong.
Huh.
I could just see you play with my volume.
Yes, I was playing with
This
Haymant's volume.
Here's what I'm saying though, Anthony. It does in fact look like we were correct and they were not. Amon and Dion both putting their faith in Suning Gaming to go 3-2. Anthony
Dion.
and I recognizing that Damwon is going to win. Me, of course, always calling one more than is required. A habit. And Anthony just getting it right.
I
Okay, where's
am
Dion
laser
at right
focused.
now? I can't seem to find him nowhere.
You don't get no help tonight.
Mm.
Defend yourself, you coward.
So how could you be so laughably stupid to think that Sunning was
That's
gonna
extreme.
win?
I love it.
Oh man, that's extreme.
That's extreme. I agree.
hmm
Like,
Um,
how could they have possibly won these games? They even got a pentakill, and they still couldn't win this series.
um, I was hoping that maybe Suning would be able to bring out something special. I don't think. I think the biggest difference that happened during the series was that Beryl was just better than Sword Art in like most capacities, almost every capacity. The way he played out the early game was masterful. The way he played out team fights was great. Like Beryl just felt like
Like a
altogether.
god gamer, dude.
Like a god gamer.
Yeah, it
All right.
was
So
yeah, and then
you got something to
you
say?
go. I was hoping that just maybe Suning would be able to pull out something between Huangfang, Angel, Bin, and SOFM. I was hoping that maybe the support cap wasn't
Don't
too
you mean
large. I
S
was
of
hoping
M?
that S of M. Okay. I believe his the full name's like Style of Me. Yeah, S of M. Anyhow, um, there was a bit of a smaller gap between Canyon and S of M, so I was hoping that all right, that would pan out a bit more. It did not.
So you're telling me you thought that there was a smaller gap between Canyon and SFM? Or SOFM? God fucking damn it.
Yes, like it didn't feel like SFM really got gapped that series. It felt more like, oh, there's this huge gap between Sword Art and Barrel. It feels like Huang Fong would many times get punished. It felt like altogether Damon Gaming's team fighting was just on point, and they're able to take it slow and just choke people out. And they were able to do they were able to do that. Not as effectively against Suning, but pretty effectively still against Suning in those clutch moments.
I mean, looking at all of their wins, they were
hmm
basically just Damwon. They're playing League of Legends like how I like to play League of Legends, and that's kind of just you just make good quality plays, you get gold, you amass a lead, and then you slowly wait for the enemy to have to feel the pressure and try to make a move and make a mistake, and then you snap the trap shut, you get some kills, you get an objective, and you move on to the next play.
hmm
And that
They
it's a fucking pleasure watching Damwon actually just body people. But
mhm.
I don't really know why Sunning couldn't recreate whatever the fuck happened in game 2.
That's a particularly weird game to talk about because even in when they were contesting in the mid game, it always feels like Sunning's like trying to compete there. That's normally the point where they're like, "Oh, all right, we're gonna start skirmishing, we're gonna start team fighting. That's where we're gonna be able to do everything." And it really seemed like Damwon Gaming still had them on the back ropes most of the time, and then all of a sudden SFM pulling out the tank Rengar, clutching the last Cloud Soul, and just spinning the game on its head. Right there, just brought Suning Gaming back. And it was also another thing that I was a little bit unhappy about was the nice vow on the Rengar. But SFM, of course, sticking to his style, always bringing out the tank Lee Sin, the tank Rengar, bringing that Knight's Vow out, which both love and hate it. He really clutched out, just securing that last Drake for his team, and then Bin on the Fiora was able to bully Nokri and able to catch out Showmaker at one time in point. It's just when you have a fed Fiora, game gets a lot easier.
It does, especially when Fiora, like, nobody can split push against Fiora. There's this one moment where Fiora cancels somebody's teleport, and for those of you who don't know, Fiora can't cancel a teleport. So she killed him.
Yes.
She killed Showmaker.
I mean, that is the way. That is a way to cancel a teleport.
It is a particularly hard form of CC.
Did you really cancel a teleport, or did you just nuke somebody because they?
I mean, did the teleport go on cooldown?
It was on cooldown before she killed him.
Yeah.
That means
did he go to his destination?
Would it have mattered?
5 head.
He died.
5 head.
I think honestly the real problem with Damwon's loss is they picked Eve, Lucian, and Aphelios, and that doesn't feel aggressive enough to me. Like, sure, there's a lot of aggression in Evelyn Lucian, which has kind of been this duo pick that people have been trying to get their hands on, but I didn't feel like it was all that well used in this game. And like Lucian's sitting on an upgraded IE, an Essence Reaver, and what the fuck, Euromana, EXE, and Hex Drinker, and it's like he's got all these pieces of a good build, but it doesn't matter when you can just get 100-0'd by Angel on Syndra, and Rengar is tank Rengar, so you can't even kill him. Like,
no. This is the case where Kitty Soft Paws actually works.
Like, I don't think tank Rengar is that bad if you have enough carry potential in the rest of your team. Like, hot tip, tanks can kill carries because they live long enough to do shitloads of damage to them over like 8 to 10 seconds. So, if you're getting chased down by Rengar, who is going to live 4 times longer because he's a tank, and he can hop in and out of all the bushes you have to run through. Sure, he can't run you down in the lane anymore, but here in the jungle, you're dead. Like, you got nowhere to go. And I think that's kind of like he played to that pretty well. There's one team fight where everybody's like, "Oh my god, he's playing so good." He's just jumping around, jumping in a bush and jumping to the closest target. I'm just kind of sitting here like, guys, he's just fucking about. He isn't doing anything like directed. He's just trying to hit whoever's near him. That's just how you play the game. You hit the target in front of you and you try to kill them so you can start hunting for new targets, because otherwise this target's going to kill you.
I also have to say, I don't think Canyon played out the early game as well as he usually does. Just game 2.
Clear, awful. It's you get real low on that early clear.
Yep. I also remember him explicitly going like, him just walking straight up to a Rift Herald and then dying with his ultimate there. That was a bit funny to see, but also was like, oh, Canyon, that's a little bit, that's not what we expect from you here, bud. That's not the quality of gameplay. Right. So that was a little bit weird, but yeah. I guess Evelyn's just maybe they were just like, all right, we're gonna try out the Evelyn Lucian, and it didn't work that time for Damwon Gaming. As you can see, all right, they lost the battle this time, but managed to win the war.
So game 3 is quite interesting. This is the game with the Nidalee who built Super Soaker.
Oh no, SFM.
I don't know why he built Super Soaker in this fucking game, but that's what he chose to do with his time. So they at 15 minutes they have a 5.5k gold lead. But the game ends with Damwon winning with Cloud Soul and is that one Baron, and Sunning got Elder Dragon and a Baron. That is crazy to me. Oh wait, hang on. I'm reading this graph backwards. Damwon had the 5.5k gold lead. Sunning swung that gold lead back to a 1.6k gold lead at 27 or 25 minutes. I can't tell which one's the peak. And I think that at like 27 minutes is where they get the Elder Dragon, but then they get wiped. So Damwon, this is what I'm talking about, where Damwon amass their gold lead and amass their own power spikes, and then they wait for you to make a mistake. And even if they have thrown their lead, this is like watching. This is how Faker alone wins games. Is he by himself waits for the other 5 players to make a mistake that he then capitalizes on, and is able to enable the rest of his team to actually like be useful. But these guys are able to do it as an entire unit, and I think that's what makes it's why
really
they're so
impressive.
dominant. It's insane watching these guys play control so hard. When I made that Terminator joke last week, I wasn't even. It's not like a joke. They look like they're machines just doing this on repeat. It looks like they could do this to fucking everybody over and over and over again. The win rate this team would have would be insane. I think you could play this series out 100 more times and Damwon wins every single one of them because they're just so good. And it's so long as they don't play this like awful. Everyone comes up with these crazy strong picks and they're like, oh, it's so good, and I fucking hate it. This Eve Lucian combo, I fucking hate it. Its early game power feels so weak. Like, I don't get it. I guess I didn't see it that much at World, so I only saw it like just get shit on most of the time, but you know.
No, you're right. I think it should only be limited to Noguri, who's going to be able to get the creative card to bring out those picks. Yep. Hey, he brought Lulu top lane. Was just like, hey, rip it out. Look at that. Canyon's a great jungler. He's a good Graves. I believe he is. It was him basically enabling Canyon in their first game on stage, and just wrecking him.
I should say, I know that he's not the first person to ever play Lulu top lane, because I played Lulu top lane back when Lulu top lane was a thing.
And our guy Jimmy is the innovator, of course.
But support Lulu top lane is kind of the meta this season for Lulu. So, I don't know. I feel like I think there are ways Sunning could have won more games. And I feel like there is a little bit of improvement they can make here in draft. Like, take their last draft, for instance. They're running Gangplank, Graves, Orianna, Aphelios, and Leona. Where's the front line for Aphelios? What is Aphelios doing in this comp? Like, what the hell?
Probably dying a lot.
Yeah, that's about right. But what they ended up doing was taking out the recycling bin 9 times. I was gonna make a shirt that was just recycling bin, and I was gonna be Gangplank, and I was really close to doing it, but I didn't want to have to waste the fucking printer ink on it and make the shit in Photoshop. But that's what I was gonna do, because watching these people just be like, oh, you got a pentakill? That's nice. You want to die 9 times? I'm gonna pentakill on you alone.
XD.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god! And this game, Canyon played like a monster. He played out of his fucking mind. Sword Art was basically non-existent on Leona, who everyone thought was going to be like the marquee pick this series. No,
Mm-hmm.
it wasn't. It was not that. It turns out it's probably Syndra. Even though I don't think Showmaker really showed up this series, but still.
I don't think Showmaker really had to show up this series.
Yeah.
I think the rest of his team had it in the bag.
The game one he did pretty good. He went 8-1-11 on Oriana. Pretty good game one. I'll
Yep.
take that. I'll take that any day of the week.
Canceled Angel's teleport to a bot play with an ultimate, and it's just like, hey, take that, sucker.
This is the game where they picked fucking Wukong. I don't. If you're not
Yes.
winning your lane on Wukong, you did something wrong.
That was a very weird one. I don't think Noguri really cared about the Wukong. It was like, oh man, I died to it once at level 6.
I don't think he cared about anything that's been played this series.
I'm gonna keep farming. Yes, it did look like he didn't care about anything been really played this series.
Even in the fucking Ornn vs Fiora game, he only died 4 times. Like, Showmaker. Oh, Showmaker.
Showmaker was the one who was suffering in the Fiora game.
Oh yeah.
It that wasn't Nuggery.
I'm looking forward to Damn One skins. I'm hoping they're really modern. Like, they don't try to make them too fantastical like they did with Samsung Galaxy, and they make them kind of more like the Season 6 or 2013 ones.
Give me more headphones. Give Rise more. Actually, does Rise
I want them to have, like,
headphones in the
jackets and
SKT
shit.
skin?
Huh?
Does Rise have headphones in the SKT skins, or just those?
The 2016 one? Yeah, I think so.
Okay, bring me more headphones. I want that.
Bring me more headphones. Like,
Yes.
like Lee Sin has headphones too.
Yep. Just casual jogger and headphones. Bring it.
So apparently Noguri is he said he wants Kennen. I think Canyon's gonna go for Graves. I don't know what Showmaker's gonna pick. I think Ghost will probably go for Caitlyn, and I think Beryl might go for Pantheon. Someone fucking quote me on this, by the way, in like 6 months, and I'll be right.
I mean, just fucking clip it and ship it.
Clip it and ship it.
That's true. Okay.
Emma, what you thinking for these skins? What do you want to see?
I think the Kennen from Noguri would sound nice. I think this would be more of a personal bias, but I would be happy if Canyon brought out like a Kindred skin. Because I just like Kindred the champion.
You can't play Kindred.
I love Kindred the champion. I love the idea of it. Whether I can play it or not, it's a completely different matter.
I can't play Kindred. She's a bitch to play.
I know how to play Kindred.
Bullshit.
I will carry you in every game on Kindred, I guarantee it.
I carry you when you play Kindred. I get you all your stacks.
I get myself my stacks.
How dare you?
Pull myself up by my bootstraps and shit.
I think Showmaker might put out an Akali skin. I wouldn't put it past him.
Showmaker putting out an Akali skin?
He might.
Did
he used to do Assassins. I don't think he played it. Actually, did he play it?
Let me see if
I'm not sure if he played it this Worlds.
I can check.
I don't think he did. Unless it was not, like...
Okay, so here are his options. Syndra, Twisted Fate, Silas, Oriana, Lucian, Galio, Echo. I think those are all the champions he played at Worlds.
Okay. An Echo skin would probably make sense. I know he normally... Last year he favored Assassins, but that might have also been because, like, oh, Akali was OP on rework.
I think we can rule out Lucian and Galio, at least.
Yeah.
He didn't win on those champions. I think that's enough talk about Worlds. That's
all right.
That marks the end of our Season 10 coverage. It's on to talking about Season 11, the future of League of Legends, and the LCS Players Association with their NA news break. I gotta get a little
Oh,
bullshit.
man.
All right. So we got a little drama. I shouldn't really say. There's a negotiation going on between the LCSPA and Riot at the moment. So Riot has stopped paying money to the LCSPA. Now Darshan says they're renegotiating with Riot. I don't know what that means because the commissioner kind of said, yeah, we're not giving them any more money after this last quarter. We don't want to. We're going to like it sounded to me like they really don't want to give them any more money and they want the players to start funding the Players Association. Which I don't think anybody doesn't want because there's a massive conflict of interest if the owners or Riot are funding the Players Association. And I suppose by proxy the owners are funding the Players Association because they play the players and the players have to play the Players Association. But that's kind of besides the point. How are we feeling about this whole situation? Did you guys watch the Travis video about it?
The one you just linked with the interview with Darshan, or the other one?
The one before that.
Yes, I did watch that.
That one I did not.
Did you watch the Darshan interview?
I watched most of it, but I didn't finish it before the show started.
The back half is about like other stuff. It's about the attitude the players have towards the Players
I got to the
Association.
part where we started talking about getting singing lessons, and then the show started.
Oh my god, singing lessons. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. It was really cool.
I mean, that wasn't a
meme.
meme. It's not like a meme. It's literally where I got into the interview.
I really liked actually.
An analogy.
What was it? 2 years ago, or in the spring? I don't remember when they had that like cooldown thing. They had him sing a bunch of parody songs, and I thought that was actually really fucking cool. I really liked that from Darshan. So I feel like the number one thing that is needed for the Players Association, like before Riot even stop paying them money, is that the players have to start taking it seriously. And I just honestly don't think there's a compelling reason for them to take it seriously. Like, does anybody have any reason that at the moment that if you're a player, you're like, I need to support the PA because we need to solve these problems? Like, I can't think of a single thing where if I'm a player, I'm feeling that at all.
Well, I'm not even clear on what they're supposed to be doing.
The Players Association?
Yeah.
It's supposed to be the startup for, like, the Players Union. Like, the way that all the other sports in North America
so
it.
It's like an early union.
Yeah. Which is like, well, you can't call them a union. They can still have the rights of a union so long as all parties agree that they are classified as a union. Like,
yeah,
that's how rules work in America. Just saying. So, I don't think that this is going to change, and this is something I agree with Monty on, which just drives me up a wall at no end, as you know. Nothing's gonna change until the league starts making enough money that the players want a revenue cut. And I don't think that's going to happen for like 10 years. What do you guys think?
I think that it's probably in the vested interest of players to take it seriously now, even though there isn't an immediate need to do so. Because the problem is that if, say, right now in next season and the season after, there's no big dispute with Riot that needs solving, then it's very easy to not care about it. But then, say, in 3 or 4 seasons, if something big comes up, well, then you're going to wish that you had a strong organization that you had been actively building and taking seriously up until that point, right? And so I just think the inability to predict what disputes may arise, but the mere possibility that they can arise, is reason enough to take something like this seriously, right? Because like maybe right now there isn't like Darshan said in the interview, it's a pretty private organization at the moment. Like we don't really know what kind of problems they're solving or what they're doing. They don't really have a social media presence. And there might not be any very big problems or really any problems at all. But as soon as problems come up, then goddamn, they're gonna wish that they had taken it seriously, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they're going to wish that the organization had been developed in such a way that it could address those problems. And by not taking it seriously, what you are in essence doing is just hurting yourself in the future. Because I agree, right? It'd be great if there were no problems until the league was so profitable that they wanted a revenue split. But if like literally any major dispute comes up before that, I think that union or players association or whatever you want to call it is going to be really important, right? In ensuring that the best interests of the players are represented and met. And so even though they might not have these issues now, I'm not quite sure why they shouldn't look ahead a little bit. You know what I mean?
I agree. I don't think it's important that on an individual level the players take it seriously, because it in the long run will be better for them. But my argument was that they don't have a motivator. Like,
no, but the motivator is, I agree. I think they don't have a current motivator, but I just think that's a general problem with motivation, is that some people can look at something and say, my motivation for this is like a sort of contingent factor about a problem that may not ever come up, but that this is a very low investment on in terms of effort on my end for a very high reward for a possible future situation, right?
mm-hmm.
And I think that is a kind of motivation. It's what makes people like plan their lives ahead. It's what makes people like have savings and say, well, I don't think that this bad thing is going to happen to me, but if it does, I ought to have the money to cover it,
Mm-hmm.
right? Or I don't think that I want to go and do this thing in 10 years, but in case I do, like in case I change my mind and I want to pursue this career path, then I ought, in fact, to get a degree or do this other thing, right? And I think that that's like actually a perfectly legitimate kind of motivation. I think it's a more sort of ethereal one, because it's hard to get yourself always to give a shit about like 8, 10, 12 years from now. But it is a motivation, and I think it's like a perfectly legitimate one for this. I just don't like, I think if there was like some major fucking dispute between the players and Riot, that would be much more concrete and immediate. But I do think there's motivation. It's just not so concrete.
Yeah, it's really weak.
Mm-hmm.
So some of the things that the Players Association has done, they got the ability for players to stream in houses. They got the ability for players to invite high-ranking players to the Tournament Realm server so they could participate in in-houses. I forget, what was the other thing. They got, this is actually like the biggest thing I think they done. They made a database so that players can understand the range of like players' salaries. They don't have anybody's name linked to their salary, but they have the like somehow they have it so that like the medians and like all these different ranges, and you can get a better
That's very
idea.
important.
Yeah, you can get a better
Because it
idea about
allows
what your worth is.
the team owners to not just like completely lie and undercut you. Like,
Yeah.
So that I think is the biggest thing that they've done. But to say that is the biggest thing that they have done is honestly really underwhelming to me, because like they need to be doing something more important, like intervening. So I honestly don't think there's anything the Players Association could have done for Acadian when he kind of got screwed over by Lena being an absolute fucking idiot. But like they needed to do something there. They needed to make some kind of statement there, even if they didn't actually take legal action or anything, because like you really can't do that to a player and just basically put them on blast in public by accident. Like, it doesn't fucking matter if it's an accident. You possibly screwed a player out of money they may or may not deserve. Like, this is a problem.
yeah, and I think that gets into what Darshan was saying though, and why like I think Darshan like expressed a sort of like not explicit regret, but a kind of regret that the Players Association had been very sort of not very forward facing at all.
Mm-hmm.
And he said that he wanted to change that moving forward, right? And I think that that's a good step, because honest to God, for all we know, the Players Association's been doing a hell of a lot of work behind the scenes.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
Mm-hmm.
we have no fucking idea, right? For all we know, they're in there in every contract negotiation. They're in there in every dispute with a team, with an owner, with a, between the player and the LCS or right. Like, but we just don't know, right? And it makes it difficult to judge their success because we don't know. And of course, you don't have to say everything, right? Like if a player says, "Hey, I need the players' associations help with this thing, but I'd prefer it be private." That's a completely legitimate request, right? If you have to handle something on a down low level in the short term, but like to know basically nothing of what they've done, I think makes it really hard to decide whether it has been useful or not because we just don't know.
Well,
right?
the only reason we know about
Although to
that,
be clear, I do think that salary database thing is actually like extremely important. I
yeah,
think that's actually like
Yes.
huge. Like
and the only reason why we know about that is kind of because Travis keeps talking about it. Because I wouldn't have fucking known about it if Travis didn't say something. Because like, how do they have a Twitter account that basically doesn't post anything? Like that, I think is a very important first step into like creating a. You got to create a presence in the community, and you have to be sort of an advocate for change and say what you're advocating for. Because otherwise, everyone's just kind of sitting here wondering, well, what are you doing? What are you doing, and why are you doing it? And that's just not. Nobody cares. Nobody's asking that question except for the times that they get brought up by Travis or by somebody else. Like, it should be an issue that they aren't doing anything, and the fact that it's not even an issue to the like that the community keeps talking about outside of Travis Gafford, it's hilarious.
I have their Twitter up right now.
What have they posted?
Me too.
They posted in May 28th of this year, on May 27th of this year, and then their third tweet is from December 18th, 2019. That's a
not enough
big
information.
like
Mhm.
and then the 2019 one is that there was a historic first meeting with the executives from Riot, all 10 LCS teams. Great. That it doesn't say about what or why. Maybe
I think it was just a general like rules meeting and stuff.
Sure. The
Yep.
next one is that we're excited to partner with this other thing, the North American created educational opportunity by forging a link between NACE members and professional esports. That's cool. That's fine. And then the recent one is a link to a video about how much they earn, how much LCS players earn. And like that's literally it, right? It's
Yep.
not like, hey, we're out here because like here's the thing. I'm not sure that a union needs to be totally public. Like I'm not sure if it affects me if I know personally what like the steelworkers union is doing right now, right? I could probably
Mhm.
figure it out. I could probably go find out. It's probably on record somewhere. But
Mhm.
it doesn't really like affect me as a person and you know, obviously it's because that's not a sport. It kind of does affect me as a viewer of a sport what like other pro leagues are doing with their unions because it
Mhm.
means like if players are getting treated unfairly in the NFL there's a strike and then that affects me and you know it's probably a strike for a good reason like better health coverage or like more money to secure better health coverage because of you
I
know
mean,
all of the physical damage
Yep.
I think this is
but like
different because it's entertainment.
that's what I'm saying. I'm saying the same thing with the NFL is that it would be way weirder for me to just see an NFL strike out of nowhere and not know what it was for,
Yeah,
or to
Mhm.
not know what the NFL like players union does, right? Like that's a weird thing to not know
because
because it's entertainment.
yeah, I'm not
Mhm.
affected by what's happening between Walmart and its workers. Really, like that's between those two
Well,
parties.
they don't allow unions, so
Look,
it's a bad
that's my
example.
point. Between some giant company and its union, I'm not involved there unless I work in that union or that company or an adjacent company. It's not my concern, and it's not going to affect my life that heavily. Like, and sure, this doesn't affect my life directly either, but it affects like it's part of the show to some degree. Like, it's about the fairness of the competition, and if I'm going to be
Well, it's also
creating,
about the fairness of the way the players are treated, which
yeah,
affects the competition, right? Because like, if players weren't getting paid fairly, that would affect competition. Because a
yeah,
lot of
Mhm.
pros might not play, right? That matters, right? Like all of these extra things that wouldn't affect me, right? Like doesn't affect me at all. Personally, I'm not an LCS player. I'm not an NACE player. The educational link between the two, the dynamics between the two, doesn't personally affect me, but it does affect the way I watch the sport because it affects who might join the sport, who might stay in the sport, the opportunities for the sport or playing the sport to be a legitimate career path that's more stable, right?
Mhm.
It's not like the people who were like getting like completely shafted on money in the old days by certain teams, or who were like doing like getting nothing out of it, right? That was unsustainable, and this could assist players in a way, uh, making this a career, making this a long-term career, and making it more interesting to watch by having it be a place where like legitimate competitors can come because they're not like worried that they're just going to get completely shafted. I think that's really important. Again, I don't think I need to know all the specifics. I don't think I need to personally know what the union is doing to like negotiate every individual's contract, but I do want to hear that their work talking to team owners about fair compensation, right?
Mhm.
That's fine. I don't need you to break down every individual person's contracts with all their benefits, but I do want to know like that you're doing work to make sure the players are well taken care of, that you're making sure that like the living conditions are good, that they're allowed to get other sources of income by streaming or things like that in certain circumstances. Like all that stuff I want to know about. But
Oh, another thing that they made a change of was do you remember that time where Echo Fox dropped all of their players like 12 hours before the deadline and they couldn't find teams?
yes.
They somehow, I'm not sure how direct their involvement was with this because everyone was pissed off about this. But they were involved in getting the rule change in that makes it so that that shouldn't happen again. Uh, I don't really. I don't know. I honestly feel like they're kind of taking a little bit too much credit for this one because so many teams and players in general were just Riot was pissed about this move too. Riot was very unhappy when that move happened.
Mhm.
All right. I think that's enough boring talk about the NALCSPA as it's still called on Twitter for some ungodly reason. Is anything else happened in the last hour? Because it likes to do that to us.
Um,
Cloud9 officially announced Reaper as their head coach in a more formal manner.
What?
huh?
Sorry, rain over. Shush.
I was about to be like, what did I miss? Is he back? Like,
Oh, wow. Okay, I was just thinking about the last player who I distinctly remember playing Tank Rengar.
Oh, someone leaked TL joining or TL TLS joining as a coach for T1. So there's that.
Fuck.
Rip TSM TL by the way. Or TL TS LS. Blah. Fuck me.
T1?
T1 T1 LS man. I'm gonna keep
T1
making that
LS.
stupid mistake.
Oh, I'm not
T1
sure how this
T1
is gonna
and T1
go.
LS. I thought he was joining as a streamer. That was the rumor, but looks like he's gonna be their coach now.
Oh, man.
like head coach or?
No, I think I don't know if he's pick band coach or something else. I don't know. It just says Coach LS in the translation, at least.
I think I'd be happy if it was a pick band coach.
Guess. I don't know. Pick band coach is normally like the generalized coach. The head coach is more like I don't know how Korea
The one
organizes
who
their
normally
stuff.
conducts how the practice environment goes, what your daily
That's
schedule
how
is.
it is in NA. I think in Korea they
Hmm.
take a more overarching approach to the strategies the team wants to play, and then
Hmm.
they work with their other coaches to develop team compositions and other things like and like pick band processes. Like I just don't know. It's hard to get a read on how Korea does this because they speak Korean and I don't
Hmm.
get to like read the things that they put out easily. Whereas all the NA orgs seem to just they seem to not know what they're doing for the most part, besides like the top 4 teams every year.
Uh, that is true. The only thing that I'm getting a little bit here is that I can't wait to hear like Ellis's voice in the T1 videos afterwards, where you can just hear him going, "Oh my god, oh!" every single time like a play happens. That's what I'm looking forward to. His caster commentary. Ah, ooh, oh, that's it.
I'm gonna miss him casting though. Some of his, actually, I thought he wasn't as good a caster as he was, but watching him at Worlds, it was a lot more amusing than I thought it would be.
I distinctly remember one clip of a support recon just going in and missing absolutely everything, and him just going, "What? What?" That was my favorite one from him.
The proper response. All right, Matt, I'm out of topics.
You want to take us on home, bud?
Yeah, I think I'll do that. That'll do it for this week and probably this season of the Legendary League of Legends podcast. You cannot catch us live next week, but you can probably catch us live at the beginning of next season. Maybe, I don't know. I think I'll probably do it again. We'll see what happens between now and January. But that'll do it for us. Just sub to the channel if you wanna watch. We'll be streaming Clash in a couple of weeks. Was it the 14th? 2 weekends from now. If you wanna watch that, go there. Otherwise, I just stream every now and then. Whatever. These idiots sometimes come on.
Yep.
I'm off and on.
Later.
Peace.